Hey everybody, this is going to be the start of a series that I'm going to do over comics and different comics that I'm reading. I'm going to be reading certain runs from different comics. Which runs I'm going to be doing are the original Spider-Man, 1 through 122, I believe. The whole introductory of Spider-Man, as well as all the way through the Gwen Stacy arc. I really want to read that story. After that, I plan on hitting Ultimate Spider-Man 2000 through 2009 run. I think it's about 133 issues. Then I'll be hitting The Amazing Spider-Man Volume 2, and it's number 30 plus, and it's through the Moreland run. The reason why I want to read that one is because I'm also reading Darkest Hours Omnibus book with one of my friends, and Moreland is a character that is mentioned in it, and I kind of just want to understand the background and the history of Spider-Man on that one. And then after that, I plan on moving into some DC comics like Nightwing. Some of the comics that after that I want to read: Red Hood. I'd like to get into Daredevil a little bit, and then from there just kind of ricochet off of different types of runs, popular ones or unpopular ones. I just kind of want to get my whole overall comic book knowledge rounded out, I guess, because I haven't read a whole lot of comics. When I was several years back, I was really big into Green Arrow, and I do eventually start to go back. I want to go back into Green Arrow, and I read a ton of the New 52 series, and for whatever reason, I think it's because Hastings closed, that I never got any new comics. Rest in peace, Hastings. I kind of stopped, and that was like my comic journey ended. After being so obsessed with the Insomniac Spider-Man games, I just decided to dive right in. So I've been doing that. How I'm going to be doing this is I actually got the Marvel Unlimited app. It's real dirt cheap for a whole year subscription. And it has all of the comics that you could possibly think of on it, with the exception of DC, obviously. So I'm going to be looking at, when I'm ready to read DC comics, something similar to that, and see if DC doesn't have that as well. This is going to be an episodic type of series. My first episode is going to be dealing with The Amazing Spider-Man 1 through 20. I'm going to break that down into the different villains that you might see, the different characters that you've seen so far. I want to see if there's any that we're familiar with, just from the basic overall knowledge of the movies that have been coming out. It's a brief overall of that set so far. Going to be talking about my thoughts on it, who my favorite villain is, if I had a favorite character. I mean, obviously it's going to be Spider-Man, because why not? Just basically my overall thoughts, my thoughts on artwork, all of it. And this is going to be the run with Stan Lee as the writer and Steve Ditko as the illustrator. So I'm pretty excited. I think this came out in 1963. Let's get started. Spider-Man's first actual appearance wasn't in a Spider-Man comic. It was actually in Amazing Fantasy number 15, and that's where you first see him. And that's kind of his little origin story that everybody's used to. He got bit by a radioactive spider. He started developing these, powers. He went to that wrestling match to earn money. All that other fun stuff. Uncle Ben died. All of it. The main stuff that everybody is familiar with, right? Everybody knows his history, his origin story. That's where Amazing Fantasy number 15 came in. And it was so popular, they decided to give him his own magazine. And what's funny is that Amazing Fantasy actually got discontinued after that specific comic. And then that's when we transitioned into the Amazing Spider-Man comic book as a whole. And like I said before, we're going to be talking about 1 through 20. And that's quite a bit of issues, and it was quite a bit of comics. Each comic is about 25 pages, give or take. And there's a few pages at the end, I think, where there's like author letters from fans, and they're answering those, and that's kind of cool. You really see Peter Parker start to struggle between his life as Peter Parker and his life as Spider-Man. And he's actually quite arrogant and quite cocky, and he's like, I know I'm the smartest kid in the room, so screw off. And he cares a great deal about his Aunt May, because that's who he has. That's all he has left after Uncle Ben. And he tried early on actually to see what he could do to make as much money as possible as Spider-Man. He tried to join Fantastic Four fairly early on because he thought it was a paid position, but in fact they're actually a non-profit, so that led to a no. He tried to do whatever he could, and it turned into taking pictures of himself to give to Daily Bugle. We all know the story. And then contrary to what we normally see, he's actually quite a ladies' man for a little while. There is a instance where he's like, oh, he's a nerd, nobody likes him because he's such a Poindexter, blah blah blah, all that fun stuff. The girl he likes at school doesn't really care for him that much, and so he ends up actually developing a relationship with a girl at the newspaper named Betty Brant. And, he starts seeing her for a little while, and then I guess something triggered, and the girl at school started liking him. And he was just like, I don't like you like that. It's just normal teenager stuff. And there was a actual moment within this first set that he actually quit being Spider-Man for about a month because his Aunt May got sick, and all he cared about was taking care of her and doing whatever he could to make sure that she was okay and she was well and that she would continue to get well. He was really struggling with that. The villains that we see within this run, some of them are repeat villains, some of them are classics that we all know, and we actually get to see them multiple times throughout this 1 through 20. We actually see Chameleon for the first time. The Chameleon is the first true villain that Spider-Man actually faces. So that was pretty interesting to see, because you would think it'd be Green Goblin or something like that, but no. It's Chameleon, and then we see Vulture, actually see Doc Ock for a few issues. Sandman comes back for a few issues. Doctor Doom, and that was actually kind of a dual issue where Fantastic Four guest starred. You see Lizard, you get to see the Enforcers. Electro, Mysterio shows up. You know, Kraven the Hunter pops in, Scorpion, and then the Green Goblin. And you actually see the Green Goblin a couple of times. I mean, we all know who the Green Goblin is, right? But right now, we have no idea who he is. His identity is hidden. You just see him in that classic, really creepy looking mask, doing whatever he can to take down Spider-Man for whatever reason. He genuinely wanted him to join him so they could take over whatever they wanted to take over New York. And Spider-Man was like, nah, dude, I'm not doing that. As far as my favorite of the villains, it has to be the Green Goblin. There's something very classic about him, and the fact that Spidey struggles to defeat him each time he faces him. It's like when you level up and you get a little bit stronger each time, but the bosses each is harder. That's kind of what it is. And it's like Green Goblin levels up when he leaves Spider-Man, and then they come back and they face off, and it's harder than it was before for either party. And it's just good fun, honestly. I really enjoy reading the few times that I've seen the Green Goblin within this section. So far, my overall thoughts are I am having a lot of fun with this read, learning a lot about Spider-Man that I didn't already know. I mean, some stuff is like common knowledge that most people already know, and then there's some stuff that you didn't know. You know, some of the characters we see that we're so familiar with that we haven't seen, like Mary Jane Watson. She's been mentioned, but we haven't seen her. She's only been mentioned as in, oh, you know, Miss Watson wants to wanted me to set you up with her niece, Mary Jane, blah, blah, blah. Mary Jane keeps getting sick, so he has yet to meet her. Mary Jane was supposed to be a blind date. Peter's like, no, I'm not interested, whatever, blah, 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 blah. But then finally he's like, okay, fine, I'll do it. But then Mary Jane gets sick. And so it's just each time, you know, we haven't met her yet. I imagine we'll meet her soon, but as of right now, we have not met her. I haven't seen Gwen Stacy yet. You know, JJ's prominent, obviously. Flash is there. Betty Brant's actually, she's so like minor, I guess, in the beginning. And I don't know where she leads on in the future issues or in future runs, but she's kind of so minor that you never see her in the other or like the movies or for any of the cartoons that I've seen. So that's pretty interesting. I haven't seen Harry Osborn yet. I haven't seen Norman Osborn yet. I haven't seen any of these staple characters that everybody's so used to seeing. With the artwork, I'm actually really digging it. I think there's something really cool about it, and it could just be because I love Spider-Man, so like all Spider-Man artwork is pretty great. And while I do love the modern artwork more, I'm really digging it. I think it's kind of cool, and I think it's very interesting to see how art has evolved throughout the years, especially comic book art. My favorite issues between the 1 through 20 is actually tied between number 17 and 18. We see Spider-Man face off with the Goblin for the second time in 17. And in 18, he actually chooses to stop fighting crime in order to take care of Aunt May. In 17, towards the end of it, we actually really see Spider-Man for the first time choose someone he loves over being Spider-Man. He finds out that Aunt May had a heart attack, and he's in the middle of a fight with the Green Goblin, and he just kind of overhears it because someone's looking for him Peter at this party. It just so happened at this party the Human Torch was there, and so the Torch was trying to help him fight Goblin. And then once he hears about May, he's like, oh no, the Torch has got it, and he goes to his aunt as fast as he possibly can. Like, doesn't care, has no concern for his secret identity at this point. He's just going, changes midair basically, and lands in front of the hospital all disheveled. And then towards the end of that, he decides to put the suit away, and that leads into 18. So in 18, he no longer is Spider-Man. He decides to put the suit away so he can take care of Aunt May and do whatever he can to take care of her. Gets her medicine, makes sure someone's with her at all times, even when he's out of school, when he's trying to take pictures for the Bugle, whatever. The only time he puts the suit on is when he's trying to sell himself. And by that, I mean pictures of himself, or tries to make trading cards of himself, tries to sell his web fluid. Basically, he's just doing whatever he can as Spider-Man to make money so he can pay for his aunt's medication. And at this point, everybody thinks he's a coward because he ran away from the Green Goblin, and he's running away from crime, and so he's just running away from everybody and all the the bad villains that are coming up, and basically they're just saying he was a hack. It really affects his mental health, and I know at the time mental health is not really a thing. You can kind of see it affect him as a person and as Spider-Man, and the only time he really starts to decide to go back to Spider-Man is when he sees Aunt May is on the up and up and not on the down. You get to really, for the first time, see the struggles and the toll it takes on someone who has to live two different lives, essentially. So, and I really enjoyed that. It kind of really humanized this kid who we've seen so far as this cocky, arrogant, like, I'm the smartest person in the room. It was really cool to see. I hope you enjoyed that. Have any of you read any of the old school Spider-Mans 1 through 20? If you have, leave a comment up below. Feel free to subscribe if you want to. No pressure at all. Feel free to like this video. And if you have read them, please tell me what you think. I'd love to talk. I'd love to chat about them. Next episode is going to be over 21 through 40. And I haven't started 21 yet, but I'm pretty excited to get to it. Anyway, see ya.